baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
Whoa, what up, everybody? Kicking it stateside, back again for a gorgeous, gorgeous, finally spring weather. It feels great to actually say that and actually feel it. So when I say that every weekend, when it's not, now it actually counts for something. So
Good
welcome
morning,
in.
sunshine.
Good morning. Another beautiful spring day. So on the cards for today, we got a lot of international soccer talk here, a lot of U.S. talk. We got a busy slate. We got the Olympic qualifying for the U23s. That's been happening this week. They're done with the group stage. They will move on. They finished second in the grouping. They lost to Mexico 1-0 on a tough one. I did not see who they were playing. I want to say it was either Honduras or Canada. I think might be the two possible.
Those were the two to come out. Yeah, those were the two to come out of the other group. Honduras.
So, again, it comes down to Sunday as far as the Olympics are concerned. So we'll take a look at that matchup coming up. Also, the senior team recently played Jamaica to a 4-1 win. Another one of those games where you're looking at pretty much, there's guys that are going to be in the starting lineup when the World Cup qualifying comes around soon. And then you're going to see guys who are trying to crack that squad as well. Your Kellen Acostas of the world. Also, Aaron Long trying to fight for maybe that center back spot. But it's pretty much what you're going to see. Obviously, with no Weston McKennie was in. Tyler Adams was not playing. So it was a little bit of an audition for some guys. I think it was a good performance, not great. Jamaica didn't have their full roster either.
Yeah, Jamaica was running with a bit of a trial squad as well. But I mean, I'm impressed regardless. 4-1, that's not a game we are accustomed to winning 4-1.
Right.
To be honest. No matter what Jamaica team was put out there and what USO, we're starting to get accustomed to seeing them actually handle their business in games that they need to. So I thought it was a nice victory. Yeah,
I mean, you can't say that it wasn't. I think maybe in the past, when Jamaica grabs that first goal to cut it within, 2-1, you're thinking, oh boy, they're going to, Jamaica's definitely going to tie this and it's going to finish in a draw. And then you're kind of like left saying like, good performance, but we shouldn't be tying a B squad Jamaica team when you're trying to, get ready for, you got the Gold Cup coming up, obviously World Cup qualifying coming up. That would be a step in the, in the wrong direction. But yeah, obviously with our poll question today ties into, the U.S. men's national team. Sergino Dest, do you think he's the best player overall on this squad right now? His performance definitely stood out. I think he was the best player on the field for sure. It's incredible the way, he's developing, and it seems like that move to Barcelona is really paying off for him. So it's good to see. I think he definitely was the best player on the field, besides legit. And again, he's one of those guys where I don't want to like the guy because he's an MLSer, and I'm
he
tough
may
on
not
the
be an
MLS
MLSer
guys,
very
but
long. Yeah.
It's every time he gets called up, I said this. He puts in a good shift, so you can't really hate.
Yeah, he keeps putting in performances like that, and he may end up in Europe as well. Galaxy might be cashing in on him. So
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those where you don't want to get into a spot like the Red Bull with Aaron Long where you price him out way too high and you pretty much wait too long to sell him, and then that's kind of expired. So you really want to strike while the iron is hot, as they would say. Get him out. If he's getting some interest, if he plays again against Northern Ireland on Sunday, which we'll talk about then in a little bit, you might as well. There's championship teams, I'm sure, that could use him. We've seen the emergence of, Daryl DK in the championship this year for Barnsley. It's doable. I think the U.S., are really turning some heads in the international soccer world. So it's, it's exciting times. And we're going to see more and more of these MLS guys, I think, head over to Europe sooner rather than later.
Yeah, man. And I just want to take a minute to say good morning to everybody. Dan, thanks for joining us. Frank, Chuck, Rob, Ritter, Daly. What's up, guys? Dan, tomorrow is Canada and Mexico and U.S. Honduras. Those are some big games. 6 p.m. tomorrow is the U.S. Honduras game. Honduras is no walk in the park. So
I believe that's who they lost to the last Olympic go round. They lost to Honduras in the semifinals. So
there's a lot of pressure right now on this organization of U.S. men's soccer. Like, it's funny. I'm on BBC News just looking at football news on there because I like to check in on there. And there's even an article about the U.S. men's team in England right now. Like, it's basically titled "American Dream?" Why the U.S. are World Cup contenders. So, like, it's getting some traction around the world that there's a lot of talent coming through this pipeline. And if it's just put together the right way and these guys can really dig down deep, like, I think we're going to compete on an international level. Like, I think we're finally there. And, like, I'm hesitant because I feel like so many times we've probably felt this in the past, on an international stage where it's like you get one or two guys like the Donovans and the Dempseys, but it's like there's just never been this accumulation of talent and depth on the U.S. men's national team. And it's incredible to see. And I'm scared of being let down. So I feel like I'm still like monitoring my expectations a little bit. I think you're probably doing the same thing. I get that vibe. Like, you're like, all right, but I need to see more and I need to see more and I need to see more because we're still not that far removed from that debacle against Canada. And we're still not that far removed from, as I hate to say it, even still the Trinidad thing. It's not that far, but at some point we got to move on from it and realize that this is a way different culture and a way different organization now. And I think we're really headed in the right direction. And as far as Dest goes and as far as the poll question goes, I think I agree. I think that's kind of probably why I came up with the question is just right now, as an overall, because you have to remember what he does defensively too, on top of how he kind of seems to move this whole team up forward on the offensive end. And that goal was just ridiculous.
Yeah, that was nice.
That's a perfect goal. And that's, like, you got to give credit again. It's killing me, but like, you got to give credit to Greg Berhalter because this kid's playing right back alongside Messi at Barcelona on the highest level, and he comes to the international team, and Greg Berhalter's like, "Yep, you're gonna play left back because I really like Reggie Cannon, and he's gonna play our right back, and I need you to now play left back and play a completely different game." And instead of crossing on your right foot, you need to now cut in and get more involved in the offense. And he does and makes, an incredible goal, gets things started in that game. And yeah, I think right now he's trending as overall best player for the U.S. men's national team, with a lot of really good players going to be challenging him for that, including, your boy Pulisic still holds that reign kind of. But Gio's coming. McKinney's coming. Musa, now that he's an official, I know you in our group text were talking about just how much you liked watching him play and how talented he is. I mean, it's an awesome time, man.
Yeah, it's again, kind of like what you were saying. I think that we have some, we're reserved a little bit. We're kind of holding back because, yes, you're getting some of these results in these friendly games, and, until they put it on the field in World Cup qualifying competition when it actually means something, I think we still have to hold off a little bit.
I think my go-to game, even though it's a friendly, is May 29th against Switzerland in Switzerland's final warm-up game before Euros 2020. Like so you're gonna get the A team, Swiss team, looking to get momentum heading into Euros. Like if you can go and win that game, then I think all the reservations will go away.
Right. And they were talking to Greg Berghalter saying, why would you schedule a friendly in Switzerland, pretty much during like club competition? And he actually brought up a great point that it's going to be like that. The scheduling is going to be like that once World Cup qualifying starts in, I think, October, maybe. Basically, you're playing with your club teams all over Europe, and then you're going to have to fly either back to the U.S. or to any other, Jamaica, El Salvador, whoever else is in our group. You're going to have to leave your country where you're playing, fly there during the week, like on a Wednesday, play, and then fly right back to your country and then play for your club. So he wants to start getting the guys used to, that crazy travel schedule. And I think like that's the first thing I'm like, wow, I actually agree with this guy now. Like, I'm warming up to him. I should have put Greg Berghalter warming up to Greg Berghalter instead of Tommy Tuchel now.
Hey, it's coming. Like he's really
smart.
Like he's turning the table, man. He's finally I don't know, maybe he didn't have the control before, and now they've kind of released some control to him, because we've always talked about it. And as much as we killed the guy, like his development of young players was always a positive. We were always for his development of the young players. It was just his matter of like game day tactics and strategy and actually going out there and taking those young players and finding ways to win. And now he's starting to do that too. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take it easy on him for a while. Right now, things are good. One big epic mistake, and I think that could change. Like, can't go lose to Northern Ireland now. Like,
right.
That's a game you got to handle. You just beat Jamaica. Like, let's go take on a not as super team from Europe and a Northern Ireland team that you should be able to handle.
Yeah, you should be. I mean, there's going to be names that you recognize on Northern Ireland, but I mean, they're not somebody that's going to scare you.
No, not if we're turning that table. Yeah. 20 years ago, it was like, oh, U.S. Northern Ireland, like that's a tough game, but that shouldn't be a tough game anymore. We should handle that game.
No.
Yeah. So, and Dan, you could post up there. Dan said we are not missing Russia, Slovenia. It's actually 2-1 at the half right now. Adam and I were discussing it before we came on the air.
Good. I am Slovenian, so I have some rooting interest in that.
Yeah, so he
50% Slovenian.
You and Dan are probably not on the same page today, then.
Hey, you know what? I would love to see Slovenia qualify for another World Cup. It's been since 2010, I think, when they were in the U.S.'s group with Algeria. and that Landon Donovan goal in that last game knocked Slovenia out of qualifying for the knockout stage. I was a little torn, but
There's
what's up, Chrome?
Man, there's so many games on. There's so many games. Tommy hit me with isn't there soccer on in a discussion about the Eagles Giants the other day, and I was like, actually, yes, there's a lot on right now.
Wow, especially right now. Everybody,
yeah,
too many qualifying. Like Dan said, you got Canada and Cayman Islands.
Yeah, like
World
dude,
Cup
I mean,
qualifying.
You can watch Estonia today. You want to watch Estonia play? Go on to ESPN3. You can watch Estonia's national team play. Like, they're not a made-up thing from the movie with Brendan Fraser and Pauly Shore.
Nah, man.
Estonia's a real country, guys, and they have a national soccer team.
Chrome says he agrees to Sergino being the best player right now. It's hard not to. I mean, the guy's playing at Barcelona alongside Messi, like you said, and he's thriving at Barcelona, and he's obviously, he started us out the other day against Jamaica with that beautiful goal. And he's like the most exciting, I think, prospect player that we've had since maybe like a Landon Donovan or Dempsey. Like, he's that exciting to watch. Even like his attitude on the field, like he knows he's pretty good, and you could just see him, you know, with his fake little step overs, and he's just very comfortable on the ball.
I was almost gonna phrase it as in like, is he leading towards even a captaincy? Like a guy like that too, who was kind of on the forefront of making a huge decision. And since he's made his decision, a few other guys now that may not have in the past have kind of fallen into line as well, and also made the same decision to stick with US. You know, he could have very easily had gone and went with that Dutch side, and he would have got time in that Dutch side. He probably would have even started for that Dutch side, and you know, that would have been the normal move of the past. But he made a decision that he wanted to stick with the US and kind of be a leader here, and you know, and now you've seen all these other guys follow trend, and it's going to be huge. I think that move alone, we talked about it way back when it happened, is going to be a monster catalyst in the development of this league, as long as he continues to play at this form. So, yeah,
it's again, back in the day, you'd probably see some of these guys that are, you know, teetering on the edge of, you know, choosing us or another country. Probably would choose the other country, to be honest.
Oh yeah, and most often, you know,
Dest he would have started, or at least seriously considered, you know, being the Dutch, you know, right back or left back for sure. But, you know, he wanted to go with the US. He sees the trend. I mean, you know, these people, especially the players, they're not dumb. Like, look at Musa. Like, he's like, I see the potential this US team has, and I want to be a part of it. Like, seriously, like 2026, I think that's the year that we could seriously have a serious chance to compete to win it all.
Oh yeah, and you and I will. Yeah, I think, you know, at least I'll speak for myself. I won't speak for you, but I'll gladly open the bandwagon door when everybody wants to jump on, when we're finally relevant on a world stage, because you know it's going to happen, and I'm okay with it. Like, it's fine if everybody, you know, when we start to improve, you know, people maybe will flock more towards this sport, and it's like a perfect storm for us as coming up and doing this and starting all this. It's like we talked about how good the Prem's been since you and I started this, and how exciting of a league it's been. And now it's like we're doing this in a perfect time of our country maybe finally getting some world recognition. And the better they do, I think it's just the better for all of us. And I hope a lot of guys do jump on and really support this team and maybe get to know the sport better. And then based off of that, maybe you fall in love with a player for your country and then pick his club as a club to follow and kind of go from there. And that'll kind of open it up to maybe more people watching club soccer as well, more TV rights, the better, you know, you see all these rights getting bought up now too. Like, I think because of the quality of our players, they're going to want to get them on television.
Absolutely.
It's a big thing.
And it is. And even in the 2014 World Cup, like, there was so much hype around, you know, all the watch parties that you saw going on around the U.S. Like, people really got into the men's team during that World Cup. And that was, I mean, it was a pretty good squad, you know, nothing crazy, but I mean.
Dude, bars were packed. I mean,
Exactly.
Everybody was. And when those games were on, it didn't matter if it was just an activity but it was like, it was country unity, and people were going out and they didn't care what the sport was as much as like they were. And then they started to learn. A few people, I'm sure, kind of got into it based off of that.
It was literally like the thing to do. Like, people were like, hey, you going down to, you know, and when I was back home in Bethlehem, they had a huge big screen, like, at the Bethlehem Steel area. And it was the one game, I think the game against Portugal, they showed like an overhead shot, and it just like, there's people for like a mile. Like, there's so many people that showed up, and I think that's cool. And I think it's just going to get better, you know, again, knock on wood that we qualify for 2022. And, you know, you get that. Obviously, it's going to be a little different. There might not be outside watch parties here in the U.S. and like the East Coast because it's.
We better be by then.
Well, the only shitty part is that it's going to be in, I think, November, December.
Oh, that's right. I forgot it. It's going to be a Winter World Cup.
Yeah, because it's in Qatar. So
I forgot.
It's going to be like right after, I think, Thanksgiving to like right before Christmas, which is it's going to be very weird.
Fuck it. We'll have an outside watch party anyway.
Throw the heaters on, man.
Yeah. Little snowball fight.
Let's say hello to everybody. Jakey, what's going on, bro?
Pete, what's going on? Jeff's coming at you with that Go Russia. You must have heard what you said.
Jeff likes to stir the pot. I like it. Always been a fan.
Glad to be your football plug, Pete. Always.
Was it a good win for the U.S. team? I think so.
Right now, every win's a good
not.
win. Yeah.
I mean, a 4-1 win against anybody, I think, is a pretty good. You know, granted, it was 2 late ones, but again, that team, probably the old U.S. team, probably folds, and Jamaica probably draws that 2-2. But instead, you keep your composure. Don't let Jamaica get that momentum, and you know they score a quick one right back to make it 3-1. And then, of course, they add that 4th one later, which they should. They should be a Jamaica team.
Well, that's
pretty handy.
Yeah, but they should. But at the same, because they're our number 1 team. But I just don't want anybody to overlook the fact that even a B-side Jamaican team is some pretty damn good players, man. And it's a nice accomplishment.
I mean, they just left off so many players, though. Like, Mikel Antonio just recently pledged his allegiance to Jamaica.
Well, they said, you know, this was an opportunity for this Jamaican team to really get a look at some of their players, and that's what they were doing. They were looking at a lot of. But I'm still happy with it because you're beating a team, even if it's their B team. That, I mean, again, that's their national sport. That's their sport. That's their number 1 sport. So you're still beating their, you know, the number 1 team, even if it's the B team.
Yeah, I mean, again, they might be missing some guys, but I still think when you're able
and we were too. You know, we were too. Like you said before, you know, some guys were out and some guys stepped up. We haven't even given a lick of credit to your boy yet, which is crazy that we're, you know, 25 minutes into the show and we haven't even mentioned his name. But Brendan Aronson comes in at halftime, 6 minutes in, 8 minutes into his appearance.
Yep.
Is just all over the pitch. Beautiful play. It was a nice play by Sargent too to get him the ball, but like,
great turn.
That kid is good. Like, he's legit. Like, legit. Like,
I've seen it for years.
I know, and we've seen it at the Union. We've seen it develop, and he hasn't missed a beat since going over to Europe. You know, he's done great since then. Then he comes back, and he gets up with the big team, and boom, it's like this kid is Like he again, it's just every time one of these guys does this, there's so much hope, and it's like I'm just still afraid to be let down because it's like
but he's another one. Like he's a guy that could seriously, maybe not again, like we said. I think he'll make the World Cup qualifying roster, but our midfield is no, probably not this time around. It's tough. I mean, again, it's a good problem to have when you have this much depth, because he needs to get on the Leon Goretzka workout plan. Because Aronson, I noticed he was getting bodied a little bit in that Jamaica game, but he gets in the right places where he doesn't exactly need to. But I still think if he wants to make that jump from Salzburg to a bigger club, he's going to have to put on some weight or some muscle.
Yeah. Yeah.
He will.
Oh, yeah. Some of these guys, you just don't want to overdo it. Some of these guys overdo it, and then they lose that kind of little bit of flexibility and quickness sometimes when you overdo it. So you want to do it right. But he could use some strength, definitely. But, I mean, thinking about the potential of a Brendan Aronson, Musa, and like a Tyler Adams 3 in your midfield with, Gia and Pulisic, and if DK just is as legit as his form has been and Sargent continues to grow, like offensively,
it's a potent attack.
It's a lot of attacking, man. That's a lot of attacking. And legit, I mean, I keep leaving him off, but he's a big part of that.
I think they'll get some calls for him.
The biggest thing is the finalizing what I think the center back pairing is going to eventually be.
Oh, for sure.
Because I think your wings are set too. As long as Dest is healthy, Reggie's been great. You still got Anthony Robinson challenging too. You still got Brian Reynolds challenging. So it's that center back pairing. Like, is it going to be Richards? Is it going to be Long? Is it going to be what's the M?
Matty Miazga?
Brooks and Ream. I mean, that's kind of.
I think it's John Brooks and somebody. I think JB's probably going to win that
right now, but like going forward, for 22, absolutely, it's JB and somebody, whoever really excels. Probably Long, just because of experience.
You hope in the future McKenzie and Chris Richards.
Yeah.
In 2026 that you would
like by 20 that's what we need though. Like we need two real good to emerge like nationally, like on a club stage where like we still just not quite there yet in that.
Yeah.
But
Andre Blake, I don't believe the union released him because we just started our preseason. And I don't think Jimmy Curtin wanted to let Andre just go and play like 2 meaningless games when they know Jamaica knows what they have in Andre Blake. They didn't need to bring him in to see anything from him. They know he's going to be the starter for the next, 2 cycles, I'm sure. So, and I think the union, I don't want him to get hurt. He already is, he got that hand injury last year. I need my brick wall of a goalie to be healthy. There's no need for him to make the trip to Austria.
I was actually going to tell you to get to that one.
Do you guys think the U.S. men's team will ever jump ahead of the women's as far as popularity? I think in due time.
I think it yes.
But again, I think it's tough because the women's team have won 2 in a row World Cups. So
right, and I don't want to I don't want it to diminish anything that the women's team's done, and the women's team's always going to have its following because it's such a big sport already for women in this country that I don't think it's going to go backwards. I think it's always it's going to keep that head of steam that it always has. But to be hopeful that the men's team surpasses it, absolutely, because that means we've done something. Like, it's going to take winning something of significance for that to happen in this country, and we know it. Like, it's just not going to happen because we have really good, talented players playing in Europe. That's going to be good for us as fans, but that's not going to necessarily keep bringing in. We need to win as a country on a big stage.
Yeah. That's
somewhere.
I mean, it's probably going to take somehow us making it to that Final Four, that like semifinals of a World Cup to really be like, okay. But still, it's so hard because the women's team were a penalty shootout away from winning 3 straight World Cups.
Mm-hmm.
3 straight. They lost in PKs in 2007 or 2009, something like that. But they lost to Japan in PKs. Otherwise, they would have won 3 straight World Cups. Like, that's ridiculous any way you slice it. Women's, men's, if you win 2 straight World Cups, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a huge fan of the women's game, and I love that team, and I love everything that I'm hopeful that the men's team can one day.
Oh, sure, me too.
Surpass them.
It's
going to take a world. They're crazy. It's literally they're going to have to win a World Cup.
Yeah.
We'll never get that support of the men's team nationally, unless some other sports just get folded up and don't play anymore, I think, unless we win a World Cup.
You have to win something of substantial, to get to that level, because right now the women's team, and it's so funny because the women's team, it's like you start with your Mia Hamms and your Brandy Chastains of the world, and then that evolves to like the Abby Wambachs and Hope Solos, and now you see the Alex Morgans, Tobin Heath, and now that's starting to be replaced by Samantha Muse. She's apparently the best women's player in the world right now. She just got rated, if you saw that. Yeah.
Our women's pipeline is just endless. I mean,
it just keeps coming. It's great. That's why they always team to win, because it's just like one woman gets older and kind of gets moved out. There's another one right behind her, waiting in the wing to probably be just as good. Yeah. Not saying I still think Abby Wambach's probably one of the best women's players ever, just based off stats alone and the things she did. And Hope Solo's right there too. She's like the Timmy Howard, I would say, of the last, that goalie that's been there forever that you can rely on. But yeah, it's going to take a lot to, I think, for that to happen, for the men to be a top priority and popular than the women.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Screw you, Dan. Cheering for Honduras.
That's a Canadian for you.
You crazy Canuck, you?
Well, I mean, I guess a part of me is cheering for Mexico because I feel like we need to beat Honduras and then get another chance and beat Mexico. And then that'll really prove me something with that group of guys too, because that's a whole different group of players, that we didn't really get into. We don't need to at this point, but that would be nice to see that ability to get a chance to play that same team again and come back and beat them in order to qualify too. Like, that'd be a nice step in the right direction. But a small part of me is going to root for Canada because I feel like if we beat Honduras and Canada wins, we're pretty much going to the Olympics. So it's like
you're not wrong.
Yeah. So that's what
Greg, Greg's living his best life down in Florida with golfing and going to spring training games. Not jealous at all, even though it's a very nice day up here today.
It is a nice day up here today. But, I would like to be going to the Phils game as well.
Sure, I love baseball. Yeah, the women's team didn't do the men's team any favors by dominating the game they had. They got to pick it up. You're right.
Yeah.
They should.
They are.
They've really let us down. The World Cup,
I just
shit. But
my thing is, I want to educate people now for anybody that is, listening, that if for some reason something happens and we don't get past Honduras, or we do get past Honduras and then we lose to either this Canada or Mexico team, like, it is a different team. Like, I just want everybody like I don't want the panic buttons to start getting crazy, because this is like, we talk about B teams, like, this is our B team that's playing to qualify for the Olympics. I just don't want people to panic if we don't get through there, because that's, oh my God, this U.S. team, and they're not going to realize that it's not even the same roster at all as the first team. So,
yeah, I mean,
we're about 35 to 40 players deep right now as far as like rotations go between
Taylor Twellman. I know we're not huge TT fans, but he was saying with all the competitions coming up this summer with Gold Cup, Olympics, Nations League as well, I think we have as well.
Yeah.
So he's like, you need probably like 35 guys to compete in all three competitions. And
which is tough. It's a tough balance.
With big expectations comes a lot of pressure, and that's what's going to happen with this whole pool and the U.S. men's national team as a whole. These guys have a huge game on Sunday to qualify for the Olympics, because it'll be a failure if they do not.
Yeah, you're right.
Thank God they get 2 in. You just got to win on Sunday, they get in, because I believe 2 from CONCACAF.
Oh, that's right.
In.
So so they beat Honduras and they're in the Olympics.
Correct.
They don't have to win that final game. And yes, Taylor is an idiot, Jeff.
Taylor is an idiot. We agree.
Yes.
U.S. national team needs the entire change in leadership. See, I used to think that, and that was like the Bruce Arena thinking. Like, he loved his MLS players, hence why we did not qualify for the World Cup that year. And I don't know. To me, he's not a good motivator at all. He sits on the sidelines and he just yells in his stupid, thick New York accent like an asshat.
Yeah.
And it just, neither of us like Bruce Arena at all. This is like anti-Bruce. But he would focus on just MLS players. He did not like.
And Berhalter did in the beginning too.
Right.
And that's why, like, I don't want to call you out, Mads, but like, have you been watching recently? Because there's not a lot of MLS players on this first team.
Legit seems to be the only one that really gets time. Or Aaron Long's been.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even consider Aaron Long like an MLS. I forget that he's still at Red Bull, because he shouldn't be, but kind of glad that he is at this point, because now maybe he'll take a leadership role in this new Red Bull formation.
I hope
Speaking of which, quick plug. One, sponsors. Today's show is sponsored by Specialized Physical Therapy. Dr. Paul Vidal. He is our doctor. Make him yours. This is the time of the year again. Everybody's trying to get fit, get ready for the summer. Little going back out playing sports again. The weather gets nice and you get those little bumps, bruises, aches, and pains. So he's the man to see. 2 locations, right? Down to 2.
Burlington, Cherry Hill.
Burlington and Cherry Hill. Or you could go on specializedphysicaltherapy.com. You could do telehealth. Again, he is the best in the business. So check out Dr. Paul Vidal. Want to give him a quick plug. Yeah, and he's doing those pre-assessments, kind of getting giving you some guidance on, the stretching. Maybe if you haven't, your kid hasn't been very active recently, with the whole pandemic and the weather, being cold. Stretch you out, learn how to do proper stretching, so you don't hurt yourself as a young kid and make it a long-term injury where you're screwed either way. So it's a lot of good things coming from Specialized Physical Therapy. Yeah, man.
Thank you, Greg. It's from the boys over at the B Words.
Yeah.
That we don't say.
Great shirt, though.
Men's World Cup is way, 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 way harder than you, men. See,
he's not.
you're not totally wrong.
He's
but
not
at the same
incorrect.
time,
There's about 4 women's powerhouses, and we're one of them. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what it comes down to. To where there's, I mean, the pool is
Brazil-
deeper in the men's game. The pool is deeper in the men's game. It's just, it is. I'm not,
Yeah. I don't know.
Again,
I
never
mean-
taking anything away from what the women have done. It's phenomenal. It's not, you're playing great competition. But it's true. It's just there's way more depth in the men's game.
What's up, Eric? You'll never walk alone. I know.
Greg said stop with that.
Well, then he
No, I
should
mean,
tune in
again,
to that show we're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean,
I
they
get
have.
it.
I
It's
think
not
I
exciting.
think he meant with the MLS players. Like,
Oh
like
yeah,
Mads
we need
was
to
saying,
stop with that for sure.
Again, we are unless you're a worthy player like the few that have made it. Those guys again have made it and they've made impact in every opportunity.
It's not a lot because
Yeah.
the route that has been successful is you go to an academy as a kid, learn there, and then you're probably going to make it to the first team or go to Europe. Not go through the college route. Yes, getting an education is important, absolutely, no doubt about it. But how many college players have really made an impact in the MLS alone? There's not a lot.
Yeah, man.
That's why the Union trade away all their picks to get money for other and build the academy up.
Well, that's why some of these U.S. academies I feel like should start getting more into just education as well too. So, like a lot of these European ones, you're required to still do some level of education while you're part of that academy. So you're not
going to school, but you're also playing soccer a lot, like all day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're playing but you're still required to meet certain requirements of education along those lines too. And that would help, maybe not have, as many go to college.
It's also academies are much more competitive than college.
Oh
right?
yeah.
The college game.
Yeah.
But
Well,
hey,
especially right now.
There's Lordy. Lordy. Disagree with the poll. Love Serge, but Pulisic is the face and best. Probably. It's close. I don't know. Pulisic, either his confidence looks shot right now, or I don't know what's going on with him. Him and Gio looked pedestrian the other day.
Yeah, they didn't make overwhelming impacts in that game. It was nice to see him.
I think Christian is trying way too hard.
Yeah. Well, now,
his body language just doesn't look good. I don't know.
Well, it's hard. It's hard to translate when you go from making a really nice run with Chelsea to then getting knocked again, then to falling out of favor with Tuchel, but you're not really out of favor with Tuchel because you're a super sub, but you don't want to be a super sub because you really should be the starter. And now you come back to the U.S. team, and now it's like you're the veteran, you're the leader. Yeah, but you haven't played in a while because you're in this new super sub role. So it's like, I get it. Like, I'm not knocking Christian at all. And it was good to see him out there at least starting and healthy and making it through a game healthy. And, oh, man, Jeff's looking to go right at Lord Walker this morning.
That's what we like.
Please don't call him that bad. We can't have that. We've talked about this. I don't even want to talk about it again, but we need him. Like this whole formula is all formula of US becoming where it needs to be. He's such an integral part of it. Like he's very good, and he's very good at a position we need him to be very good at.
Captain America.
Because we don't have a lot of depth up there. Like we have good players up there, but like we're not overwhelming in depth up there. We're starting to gain a lot of depth in the midfield and in the back end of the defense. And even at goalie, actually, I feel like we're getting some decent depth at goalie now. Although I don't think Zach's losing that job anytime soon.
Probably not.
But yeah, like he needs to be there and available.
You don't want Christian to turn into Bubble Boy, where it's just like you got to be very cautious with him at this point, because that's the worst.
Jeff, you're smoking crack. Did he just call Christian Pulisic the Freddie Adu of this generation?
Oh, no.
Freddie Adu couldn't even get on the field at DC United, like, when the MLS was bad. Like, really bad. Christian Pulisic scoring double-digit goals for Chelsea, taking them to the Champions League. Like,
Freddie Adu was shit for the Union, though. Yeah. It was this big signing and this hoopla, and then he scored like 3 goals.
Freddie Adu did nothing ever with anybody. He did nothing. He didn't do anything.
He was great when he was 16 and playing against like half-decent
14,
players.
Yeah.
And then people got tape on him, and he just never developed any more than he was like that point.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. We overhyped him big time. I think that was the U.S. media's fault that he got all that hype around him because he was 14 years old, and we love crowning kids at young ages. Look at LeBron, having documentaries about him, when he was in high school, for God's sakes. Freddie Adu was the same way. Bryce Harper was the same way when he was in high school, just dropping bombs.
Yeah, guys, at that age, you're on the cover of Sports Illustrated or you're on Sports Center or whatever. Like, it's a lot of pressure, man. But
of course,
the only difference is the other 2 guys you named have actually excelled at a high level professionally, where Freddie Adu did not.
I mean, can Christian handle that pressure of being the man?
Yeah,
I think that's the big thing. Pulisic struggling, not playing. You know what? I'm not going to cry for Christian at all. I really can't. The guy can't stay healthy on the field. How is Tuchel supposed to even consider him for the 18? I can't agree to that. I don't think he's struggling. He just can't stay healthy.
I think he's been I don't know. I feel like he's probably been healthy of late. He seems to be healthy of late.
Yeah.
They don't tell you everything, but
again, there's all those games here and there where they hold him out because they're worried about playing him too much.
Well, I think at this point,
injury.
Yeah, and I think at this point too. I mean, Tuchel still hasn't lost since taking over Chelsea, right?
No.
Am I mistaken in that? He still hasn't lost a game. So, like, you can't blame Tuchel for not wanting to change his formula. But at the same time, I understand what Lord Walker's saying, because I think we are in agreement that when he is healthy, he was probably the best player on Chelsea last year. And
He's
then,
fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, it's such a rock and a hard place to be in. And that's why it goes back to a couple of weeks ago where we talked about it. And, like, I almost just kind of want him to get out of this Chelsea situation now, because the more Tuchel keeps winning, he's not going anywhere. He's going to get his whole 18 months. And, like, we can't have Christian Pulisic as a U.S. team sitting on the bench coming in for 30 minutes in a clip over the next 18 months. Like, he needs to be playing every day on whatever club team that he is. And if that means leaving England and going to somewhere else, I'm okay. Like, I would rather see his development continue than to just see him, like, get stuck in this role that he doesn't really need to be playing at this point. I mean, he's still young. He needs that time. And if he gets hurt, he gets hurt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at this point, we have to be in the fact that, like, we know he is injury prone. So we got to just take the chance, let him play, let him develop. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt.
Yeah.
Like, that sucks. But, like, we can't hamper his development worrying that he's going to get hurt again. If he just keeps getting hurt, then somebody's going to have to step up and take the role. But he's got to play.
He's becoming he's on another injury away from becoming Bubble Boy.
I know.
And it's very concerning to not just U.S. fans, but I mean Chelsea fans too, that are like, well, that's a lost addition to come in off the bench.
Yeah.
It's a shame. I don't know. He just didn't look very confident the other day. And again, game time definitely can impact that confidence on the field when you're not playing. But
yeah, we'll give him a.
He's got a slight pass right now. I'm not totally gonna jump down his throat, but
I'm guessing he's probably going to play Sunday against Northern Ireland again. I have a feeling that he's going to go with a similar lineup that he went with against Jamaica. So, dude, that's awesome though. We get 2 games tomorrow. We get that game at noon, and we get the Honduras game at 6.
Yeah, nice little doubleheader.
Yeah, I like what Eddie said. About Christian Press scored for Lady United.
The Lady Reds. That's cool. I mean, she's another great player.
Yeah.
Once the Alex Morgans, get kind of weeded out, she's going to step right in there. Like I just said, she's waiting. I mean, she already plays a lot though, but as Alex and Tobin Heath start to get a little bit older, they probably got one more World Cup in them, I'm sure. You're seeing the Rapinos probably getting weeded out.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's time. It's like 40.
And she's still great.
And she is. I'm not hating on her, but I'm just saying, like, at some point, like, there's so much depth there. It's time for somebody else.
Julie Johnson, Ertz. She's fantastic.
Yeah. Speaking of Ertz, I still have that little Ertz figure that our boy Steve sent us, and that is part of our prize package for when this fantasy season wraps up. So someone's going to be getting that. I don't know if I'm going to put that in for the championship package or if that's going to be a consolation prize on its own. But we do have a nice little Julie Ertz
that's right.
coming somebody's way in the next couple months here. So.
I have an idea for that. I thought, with our logo search coming along, maybe the winner of that fantasy league can get the first customized soccer jersey with that logo on it.
First edition.
Yeah. Hot kit. Off the presses. Yeah.
I'm with that. It's funny because I was thinking that too. Either, a kit, scarf, something. I like the kit idea because we'll be getting a first run, I'm sure, for ourselves, so we can throw an extra in the mix. And
no doubt.
Yeah.
No, Eric, not yet. What would you like to talk about with Champions League?
You're welcome to. I said in the forum, and if you look in the show thing, like, I'm open to anybody bringing anything up. I didn't really want to get too into Champions League because we're still we're a couple weeks away still. Like, I was looking at the schedule, like MLS, we're 2 weeks, April 16th. So we're doing the MLS preview show April 10th. We talked about Champions League. We got about, I guess it's basically a full week till it wraps back up. April 6th, I think, something like that. So, and to touch on Lord Walker, it wasn't that you didn't get an invite. You mentioned that you might not be available. So, because I know you were, that Arizona nightlife is popping out in that beautiful state, and I'm super jealous.
Popping because we popping like over Redenbacher.
And it's super early still out there, so.
Champions League starts up on the 6th. So.
Yeah, you can't say Jordan Morris is a flop. He freaking tore his ACL.
That seems like a troll job from Dan Boy.
What else would we get? But
that's a flop as he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Playing for Swansea.
Because he was a sounder. He just doesn't like him because he's a sounder and he's out on the Northwest out in Canada, and I'm sure.
Oh, because you root for that shit team in Vancouver?
Yeah.
Who hasn't done anything ever?
That probably despise their little brothers from the South and the Sounders that just win everything.
The Cascade Cup is always Seattle's.
Yeah. Woo!
Yeah, coming out next. But I like this with Dan because he can take it and give it.
He's great.
That's funny, though. as he's playing for Swansea in the championship. Canada has like two guys that have played. All right, Davies is the best player, probably CONCACAF. But
I was going to say, be careful. Jonathan David is on fire right now. He's like scoring at will for Lille.
He's great. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think he's in double digits for Lille this season.
Him and Timmy Way are like tag team in Lille.
Yeah, dude, I'm okay with it.
Eddie, Cincinnati might have the best stadium in the MLS, but that team is awful. Who'd they sign recently?
It doesn't matter.
That's almost like a rock thing to say. Where's Andy?
I know it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter who Cincinnati signed.
Oh my God, Cincinnati.
Luciano Acosta.
Yeah, it's okay.
That stadium does look pretty dope, though.
It's awesome looking, and I hate it. I said it. What did I put on some social media? I said it's like putting a diamond into a pile of shit. Like,
beautiful stadium with
even the emblem looks good in the seats. Like, I give them credit, but never.
Jeff,
never.
you know this, that Brian never stops Cincinnati hate.
They have. Well, yeah, they're so far away from me stopping hating them. They thought by knocking us out of the MLS's back tournament that I would like be nice and behave, but then they just continued to be the worst team in the league again after that and win like 2 more games the entire rest of the season. And I don't even troll them anymore. They're pathetic. Like, there's no reason to troll them. I'm done. I got kicked out of that one group, so I can't troll them.
You did.
And
I know Jonathan David is Canadian.
We were stating that you have 2 really good players.
You have 2 players that are very good,
world-class players. The rest are there's some good. There's a couple other good guys in there, but not like. Yeah.
Tisho Akindele. Very hyped guys who just suck. Sorry, I'm done hating on Canadian people. Since he's better than New York and Jersey teams.
True.
I don't know. I think Cincinnati, they're hoping that the new stadium brings some good juju to their season this year, but I think they're still going to suck.
Oh, they're not going to be good.
That's enough, Cincinnati. We don't want to put them in our mouths too much.
Well, yeah, you don't want to. Adam just doesn't want to trigger me into like a 40-minute rant of how much I hate Cincinnati.
We just know. We already know. I'm not the biggest Cincinnati fan either. I think they were like they're always going to be probably the little brother. You know, they get the MLS call up and they just are way
They signed that Brenner kid too from Sao Paulo, the striker.
Oh yeah.
And now I gotta hope he fits.
We'll see.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know what to tell you. I like Frankie Amaya. He's a good young player, but
yeah, I'm believe it or not, I'm actually looking at their squad right now. See who they. They got an interesting team.
It's always interesting.
Yeah, I do like Frankie Amaya. He hasn't gotten any. Is he? He's not on any of these. Like he's not on the U23 team. He's probably U21er. Yeah,
he's a young buck.
He's tiny, dude. 5'4", 139 pounds.
Shifty though.
He is. He's shifty as hell.
I guess I want to talk. I guess transfer news. I like the transfer talk, but again, it's so far.
I know, like
from the July
rumors,
right? That's swirling around. It's almost. I mean, all the time is silly season.
Right.
you could probably name a million people that might be on the move. I know we mentioned that, Holland, Dortmund pricing him out for whatever, 180 or something like that.
Yeah. They
Was
set
what
they
they
set the
eventually
number at
want.
180.
Which is fair.
Yeah. I mean, that was my other question. I guess we can get to that. That was the YouTube poll question, correct?
Yeah.
I think. So the YouTube poll question is brought to you by Body Check Wellness. Body Check Wellness. I was just talking about them last night to my brother, and my nephews are over. My one nephew's becoming quite the hockey player, and he was actually at a thing recently that Riley Cote was at, doing a little bit of coaching, because he is doing some of the Flyers stuff and over in PA and Jersey playing. So, but yeah, Body Check Wellness is a line of products that help promote wellness, balance, recovery, full potential of hemp, which, we've discussed before. We're big proponents of hemp. We think that it's a great thing. They come in extracts, blends, gummies, topicals. Use promo code A2D, 20% off your order at bodycheckwellness.com. And it goes along with everything that we do here at A2D. We say it's about, keeping yourself right, mind, body, everything. So just add to it after you see the doc. Get yourself some of the stuff from Body Check as well, so you can continue to feel better after your treatments. We
love that hemp.
Yeah. So sure do. But back to our man Erling Haaland, and the poll question is like, is that value? Is that a fair value? Is Dortmund a little high on their number, or are they right on their number? Could they even ask for more? I mean, I guess as we approach that window, like you said, we're still a ways away. Like that could change if they go on and they somehow find a way to beat City and he puts a few balls in the net, like my number goes up again. Like 180 goes to 2 real quick.
I mean, yeah, I it's like I want to be so hopeful for that to happen. It's because nobody else can score on that Dortmund team. It's sad because it's such a good roster of young talent, but it's all Haaland. It's like if he doesn't score half the goals for them, they're not even in 6th place in the Bundesliga. They're even worse off.
Oh yeah, I mean it was the same.
And
thing
you saw him last week. You see that when he got the tying goal late, he just gave the jersey to the guy and walked off, so pissed off because it's frustrating. He's the only guy that's doing anything.
Yeah,
so, I mean, 180 mil I think is pretty fair because he's probably going to be the best striker. Again, we had this debate, who's going to be the best, Mbappe or Haaland. I think it's going to be pretty damn close. But Haaland just scores, man. That's all he does. That's what he's, that long leg stride, that left-footed shot, man. Whew.
You think he's this is 100% this summer window he's moving? They got to cash in now.
I think they're going to make a deal, but then it'll be in January because his release clause doesn't go into effect until 2022. So they could strike a deal up maybe, but he won't be able to leave until the January window.
Okay.
So if they want to, I mean, Dortmund's been, as we've seen last year, they've been known to play hardball. And I would assume they do the same for Haaland too, like they did with Sancho. They're going to wait, and they're going to hold out for the highest bidder, whoever comes calling, to get that money. It's always how they've been.
I just think they would be foolish, I guess, not to take it. Again, like Lord Walker's saying right there, and we talked about it last time he was on, we're sitting in a pandemic market with a curve. If someone's willing to literally come step up and pay you that money at this point, and you're Dortmund and you're already in risk of missing Champions League again and all that, you probably just got to make the deal.
You're going to have to.
Yeah.
If they miss
replenish
Champions
those
League,
pockets.
You got to get that money that would have came with the Champions League deal and the TV rights for that. You got to make up that dividend somehow. And 180, and then Sancho probably leaves for another, 80 to 100. So they have the options. It's just this is going to be it, because if they sell those two guys, it might be some serious rebuilding for this Dortmund squad. But I don't know. Off topic, yes, I think 180 is probably a good price. Will they get that? I don't know. But they're going to wait for it. They've been known to just wait it out.
Yeah.
But then again, there's only so many teams that can afford that. The 180.
But
City,
but those are going to be the teams that those are going to be the teams that are in the mix.
Exactly.
City, Chelsea, Real, Barca.
Those are what you want.
United, Arsenal.
Nah.
With Odegaard.
I doubt Stan will pay that money.
They're about to throw that 50 mil at Real for Odegaard now.
I'd say he's either going to go Holland, probably to City or Chelsea. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
It depends. If Roman wants to be like, I like that guy. He's my new favorite friend. Like he did with Timo. And he just was like, here, take it.
I wouldn't, I would. Barca and Madrid are two teams that are looking to rebuild, so they would worry me too, of teams that could just kind of snatch in. And
I feel like Barcelona is going to be sellers though, because they want to sell off some of these not older, but they want to get rid of Griezmann, and they want to get rid of.
They're going to be sellers, but
I forget.
They're always buyers. That's why they're $1 billion in debt. That's the. But
they want to build around their Barcelona core, like the Ansu Fatis and Pedri. They want to build around those two young kids. But
yeah,
hey, I said Antoine Griezmann to the Union in a few years. Market. Cool. That'd be cool.
Hanging with his boy Durant.
So true. Which I would love. My God.
And going back, I just miss I have to address it, even though we said we wouldn't talk. Jeff, I can't believe you wrote what you wrote.
What do you write?
I'm not even going to say it. You have to scroll up and find it. I can't even talk about it. Really?
What did I miss?
Just mentioning how somehow there's no team that they're better than, because they've never finished better than any team since they've been in the league.
Who, Shitnatty?
Yeah, he said they were better than the New Jersey, New York teams. At least they're in one city. That's what he said. What does that have? It doesn't matter. They could play in 7 cities. It doesn't make them a better team.
You Liverpool fans are funny, I tell you.
He's a City fan. He's the worst.
No, I was laughing at what Eric said.
Oh, I scrolled.
He said, Liverpool, don't count him out for Holland. Man, you ain't spending that money.
Arsenal has a better chance of spending that money than
No way. I think it'd be cool, good for I mean, anybody would love Holland, but it's, again, Liverpool, that's not your MO to drop 180 on one player. Because that would mean you'd probably sell off Salah or Mane, I would assume. I don't think y'all wants to do that.
No, that's going to happen sooner or later, though. One of them's going to go sooner or later. It's going to have to.
I think you want another season for this same Liverpool team with a healthy Joe Gomez and Van Dijk before making any rash transfers, in my opinion. Because it's just a different squad with those dudes in it. Wishful thinking.
Now they got me trolling Cincinnati. See, you guys got me all pissed off now. I'm sitting here looking at Cincinnati's schedule.
Oh,
I wanted to see when they opened up when they actually finally got their first game at the new stadium. That's what I was trying to. I think it looks like it's not till May 16th. Their first 3 are on the road. I really want to see the stadium like with some people in it too. It is nice.
We'll get a good crowd.
See what you started.
Hey, I don't even know who brought that up.
Eddie, it's Eddie. Eddie.
Oh,
did.
that's right, Eddie did. Damn it!
Quick score alert! If anybody cares, Montenegro is now up 4-1 on Gibraltar. So Gibraltar got it level before the half, and then actually at the 30-minute mark, Montenegro did go up 2-1 at the half, and they've since added 2. And Russia is still leading 2-1 in the 85th minute. So that game has had not much happening in the second half here.
Damn it!
So Jeff's probably happy. Dan's probably happy. Adam not so happy.
Not happy. It's all right.
I love that. Like, these are actually World Cup qualifying games, though. Like, all these games are meaningful. People don't realize, like, if you have ESPN2, ESPN Plus, a lot of these games are televised today because it is a light sports schedule. Yes, they're getting Ernest Haaland, his 12-year-old cousin. That's
in your dreams, Danny boy. In your dreams. You see the blonde man holding his MLS trophy.
You know, I as I was doing my little bit just reading about him of recent too, like I did not realize that he was a Mold player, a Mold A player for a couple years.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was his coach.
Yeah. I guess I just for some reason I didn't realize that before he made the jump to Red Bull. So
that's why people like to piece together that maybe United would be the fit for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they'll have some stuff coming off the book. Speaking of United in general, since we are on international break, for England, 2 big names that will be withheld from these World Cup qualifiers against Albania and Poland. 1, Marcus Rashford, and 2, Bukayo Saka. So Arsenal fans, Arsenal's basically asked because of some injury, same thing with Rashford and United, that these guys will not be included in the rosters, which I'm ecstatic about as an Arsenal fan, as much as I want to see Bukayo Saka continue to develop on the international stage too. We need him for this Europa League push. So
yeah, there's no need for him to. Again, you know what he brings to the table.
Yeah, at this point.
I think Gareth Southgate knows what he's getting with
Saka. A little note from the BBC Football World News. They're good. They're good if anybody. They're good to follow. BBC's always got it going on.
Lord Walker said Liverpool should get Gianluigi Donnarumma. He's another guy that's been on the radar forever because he doesn't even want to be at Milan anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think the fans even like him because he didn't pledge his allegiance to Milan, and they didn't like that.
He's a solid goalie, man. He's definitely a good young goalie. That would be a type of Liverpool move, you know, picking up a good quality player like that on a free transfer.
I just don't know if he could do it at the Prem level.
Yeah, we'll see. I guess at some point, I think he's 21.
Yeah, he's a young kid.
He's super young. So
I think he made his appearance with Milan when he was like 18 or something like that. He's been their first choice keeper.
I think he's Italy's first choice keeper now too, right? If I'm not mistaken, he
should be.
Yeah.
No,
if he can beat out Buffon,
the ageless wonder.
He ain't going anywhere. Yeah, he's still. You could keep me on the roster in case you need me, Coach.
You never know.
Older than you, but.
I guess international still just randomly. Zlatan scored for Sweden.
It was nice. I wanted to talk about that. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
I'm sorry. He got an assist.
Oh, he got an assist, yes. But it was just nice to see him back. You know, for those who did not know, Zlatan had basically walked away from the Sweden team. The Sweden team basically walked away from Zlatan while he was in the MLS. I guess some of his antics were just a little bit much. And in last Euros, they elected not to bring him as part of the team. And it was like, you thought about it and you're like, all right, I kind of get it because he's Zlatan and maybe you don't want the distraction for this like younger core of Sweden players. But it's like, if you're Sweden and you have a guy like Zlatan at your disposal, like how could you not bring him? You know?
At the age he is, it doesn't even matter. He's the best Swedish player in their pool.
Oh, absolutely.
And hell, if he's still scoring goals and he's going to help you out, bring him back.
Yeah. You got to have him on that roster. So it's good to see him back with the national team.
I don't know, man. I'm not sold on either of those guys.
Koulibaly, I'm always sold on. Varane, I'm not sold on at all.
I thought
Varane is not the same guy. He's not the same guy that he was. I'm telling you, he's like, it was something with weight loss or something. He just doesn't look right. I don't know if he was ill or if he wanted to get fitter, but like, it just doesn't seem.
He's. What was it last year? Champions League that he looked a little shitty. He was giving the ball away, and he led to 2 bad goals.
He has not been the same since the French World Cup, in my opinion. He's a little bit after that.
I think he's a little overrated, but that's just me.
He's pretty. He was at one point. He was pretty damn world class, but I feel like that window was kind of short in my opinion. So yeah, I guess overrated is a right way to put it at this point.
Again, that French team was now so good. Like you just were like, oh, everybody on that team's so damn good.
Yeah.
Like Benjamin Pavard made his name that World Cup, and he got the bag from I forget who, and now he's on Bayern. I don't even know if he's playing ever.
Oh, he plays. He single-handedly moved Kimmich. He moved Kimmich to the midfield.
That's right.
That's how good they are.
And Lucas Hernandez is forcing David Alaba out.
Yeah, which is fine.
It's time.
It's time. It's time for Boateng too.
Oh,
they got the new wave
coming.
They'll bring Richards back. No, they'll bring Richards back off loan when he's ready.
You want Mats and Nicolas Sula, the slowest center back pairing ever?
You know what's funny though? I feel like if you brought Mats Hummels back, like
he'd do great.
He'd be good. Oh yeah, he'd do great.
Not with Emery Chan next to him at center back.
Jesus Christ.
It's terrible. This Dortmund team.
I still don't understand. I still don't understand that. When I saw that the other last week,
makes me so mad. I'm so mad.
I was gonna say I don't know how you do it. Don't want to watch Emery Chan play center back.
I'm so mad. This Dortmund team is just fucking frustrating.
Man, there's so much on today. I'm just scrolling through. Like, there's CONCACAF World Cup qualifying, and then you got the FIFA UEFA World Cup qualifying. You got international friendlies mixed in, which really good one today. Wales and Mexico at 4:00. If anybody wants to tune into that one,
interesting.
That's on the plus. I think a Wales Mexico game would be quite intriguing. Definitely something worth a watch. You got your U21 Euros going on right now. Germany and Netherlands play today in that, so that's a pretty good one. And Spain and Italy, that young core of Italians kind of trying to get their self back on the map against a Spain team that's always freaking good. So, and your U21 Slovenia, they play today too at 1:00 against the Czech. So you get another chance for them to do something today.
The Slovenians haven't produced a good player in years.
Well, check out the U21 team. It's on ESPN3 today. The Trace. 1:00.
Smallest nation to make the World Cup that year. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. African Cup of Nations qualifying is going on today too. So, like, I mean, there's just so much. The Australian A-League they're still cracking games out because they don't go on international break in the Australian A-League.
That seems like a league Dan follows. Russia won. Yay.
Yeah, they did.
Go back to Russia, you commie.
Oh, and there is a North London derby today. It's just in the women's game, and that's 0-0 right now in the 20th minute. So
Nice.
come on, you Gunners.
The Lady Gunners.
Yes. You like the name today, Mr. International Known, little Pitbull? I was going to get some Pitbull going.
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide, Mr. International Known.
Oh,
Let's
God.
go, baby.
boy.
We got an hour and 20 minutes into the show, and no one commented on that. You didn't have anything to say about that.
I didn't even notice.
Dug the shirt out for today.
I noticed the shirt.
Yeah,
It's an international break specialty.
you know it. I was wearing this on international break before we were ever even filmed.
That's true. You were.
For whatever reason, just for my own well-being, I guess.
I don't have any cool shirts like that. This is the only one I know. Feeling very aggressive.
Yeah, I see that today.
Dan does not follow the A-League. I know. I just poke fun at you, bud.
Hey,
This is what we do. We just banter. We like to stir the pot. Lord Walker stirs the pot all the time, tries to poke the bear. I poke the bear by talking about how Canada's not good and Vancouver's poo.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy, all these games. You could just, you can scroll down and dig deep, like the Welsh Premier League is going. There's a 6-0 game right now in the Welsh Premier League. The road team's up 6-0, so that's...
The Welsh League.
They're one of the only teams that actually has a logo next to them on ESPN. Like, the other ones have that, gray shield placeholder, and this team actually has a legit logo. And
They're the only ones that actually were in a big competition, so they have their
I
logo.
guess so. Yeah. Yeah, well, they're up 6-0 at the half on the road, so they must be...
They just run away with the league every year.
But that's that's an attest to people don't realize. Again, we talk about it. There's games just being played all over the world every day in this sport. It's pretty great. It's pretty great.
Eric, don't give Lord any more of a big ego. You Liverpudlians stick together.
Oh, speaking of your boy too, did you see his Topps Chrome rookie card? Going for some big time money, his autograph rookie card.
I did see that.
And the worst part about that is I didn't necessarily, not that I didn't know, because obviously there had to have been, but I tried to neglect the fact that there was a soccer card market, because being a former card collector of all sports in my life, it's probably not good for me to know that they sell soccer cards like that. I knew, but I tried to put a blind eye to it, and this opened that eye right back up the other day when I opened this.
You're getting back into it.
I'm gonna have to go buy a few packs, I guess, and see if I can pull this Haaland autograph card, get myself $125,000.
Oh Lord.
Or I'm just going to go waste a couple hundred on a bunch of pieces of cardboard.
It's the come up there.
Yeah. That was pretty cool to see.
I want to say something about the, while we're talking about international stuff, a little bit on the Euros this summer.
Yeah.
Any expectation on, that was going to kind of be where I wanted to go. Who would be your, favorite to win? Is it France to come back after a World Cup win and win the Euros, or the Euro giants Portugal that always seem to step up in that tournament, and they won the last Euros in 16. So where do you see that riding off to? I still say France probably is the favorite. with that roster.
I would think France has to be the favorite. I have a lot of expectations still for this Belgian team. Like we've talked about, this is kind of that little last wave of, that big youth core of that Belgian team between this Euros and next World Cup. This is kind of their last opportunity to win something that they had heavy expectations to win, I think, at some point. Eddie said one right there. Netherlands need to sack the manager. I agree, because there's a lot of talent.
Thanks.
There's a lot of talent there, too, and obviously they're going to go as well as Van Dijk recovers from this injury. I don't expect anything out of the Netherlands team until I see how he recovers from this injury, but if he gets to full recovery, then, yeah, they become one, again, to look at for me as far as the Germany team. I want to see what this team does. There's no reason why they shouldn't be a favorite with all the talent that they have at their disposal. I don't think they are, because of what they've shown us recently. Even in these qualifying games, they get up 2-0 and then they fall behind. They get 2-2, or they don't show me enough, but they should be. They should be a favorite.
But they're just not. I just feel like there's such a disconnect between the players and Jurgen Love anymore.
I know, and I feel like
saw it last time around too, when they was it the Euros? They didn't make it out of the group, right?
Yeah, they really struggled. Like it's not been good.
I still
even
because Frank de Boer. Frank de Boer is a terrible coach. He had an insane roster that was loaded at Atlanta United, and he made that team shitty. And he gets canned. And he goes to a pretty loaded Netherlands team with a lot of young talent. And they're shitty. It's the coach. He's not good. Dan. Dan loves Russia.
Trying to look at the full like all the teams that are in.
Russia has Russia has the Freddie Adu of Russia. Alan Zagoyev was supposed to be like the Russian Messi, and he just says never panned out.
Yeah, I guess we're doing a disservice by leaving England off that list too.
Eddie said, Portugal, of course, I would say is probably second favorite for me. I'd say France first, Portugal second. You want to say England with that talent.
Who's left? Croatia. I'm looking at everybody. Scotland, Croatia, Czech, Slovakia,
Belgium,
Sweden.
I would say probably
Poland. No Norway. So
no, they didn't qualify.
Nope. North Macedonia. Gotta watch out for them.
Definite favorites.
Hungary's in.
Poor Israel.
Yeah, let's.
I still maybe Belgium the third, maybe France. It goes France, Portugal, Belgium, England, maybe with a fourth outside shot. That Croatia team, I'm still not sold on.
No, not to compete all the way. I don't think they're going to be a good team, but.
I'm sure Germany's probably about 5 or 6 in the odds, because that roster should be good. But again,
right? It's the roster. The roster tells you they should be, but
that's a lot of older guys too. Like Boateng's old as hell. Mats Hummels is old as shit now. Mueller's getting up there. You got Gnabry as the striker probably, but
this is what I needed. I wanted to look at the groups, because obviously we start like every tournament. We're in a group stage, so
yes.
Positions 1 and 2 out of each group are going to the round of 16, and then the 4 best third place teams will also go to the round of 16, just like in a lot of these competitions. So the group of death to me is the final group, which is France, Germany, Hungary, and Portugal. So that's like that's a tough group. That's going to be a tough group for Germany. They're going to have to probably hope to be one of those third place teams because France and Portugal, we just said, are probably your two of your favorites, and they're in the same group. And then you got a group that has Poland, Slovakia, Spain, and Sweden. So that's, you expect Spain definitely out of that group, right?
Yeah.
I don't know who else you take out of there. I guess if Lev is Lev, and Poland probably has to move towards the top of that list. They have pretty decent goalkeeping, pretty decent defense, and the best scorer probably in the world. So, and then you got Croatia, Czech Republic, England, Scotland. So that's definitely England's probably the favorite in that group. Croatia or Scotland maybe as your number 2.
Scotland's a good team.
And then Austria, Netherlands, Macedonia, or who is it? Yeah, North Macedonia, and the Ukraine in one group. So that's, you would expect Netherlands, even without Van Dijk, probably to get through that group. Ukraine is solid. Definitely. Ukraine is not a bad team. Austria is not a bad team.
Did they have the play-in games yet?
What?
Did they have the play-in games yet for the playoffs for the Euros? Because I'm looking at Sky Sports. It has Group A, Italy, Switzerland, Turkey, Wales.
And Wales, yeah. I'm going was going backwards through all the groups.
And then playoff D or playoff A winners. So I guess the playoffs didn't get going yet.
No, we still got to do group stages. That's why these are all our groups.
No, the Euros are already, I think, grouped. Because it was supposed to be for last year. They were supposed to play last summer, so the group was already pretty much. I think.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The groups are set. I'm reading them off group by group.
Right.
Yeah, because then you got Russian, Finland, Denmark, and Belgium in Group B, and then Group Group A is Italy, Switzerland, Turkey, and Wales.
Right.
So this is. I mean, we got group play. Like, we legit are starting this from the beginning, and that's what some of the complaints are about. Is a lot of people are like, well, you're adding this now with World Cup right around the corner. Like, it's still technically labeled Euro 20. Like,
yeah,
they're calling it Euros 20. It's just not starting till summer of 2021. June 11th, I believe, is actually the first game against Italy and Switzerland, if I'm not mistaken. But that's why this US, and that's what's so big with this US game being May 29th.
Italy, Turkey.
Oh, Italy, Turkey, and then Switzerland plays the next. So, like, it's Switzerland's last game before this Euros competition starts. So we have, the nice part is we have an entire summer where last year we thought we were going to have a nice month stretch of Euros. Now this year we have a nice month stretch. So when I'm chilling down at LBI again this year, we'll actually have Euros games to watch, hopefully.
Is WD the MVP of soccer?
No, I think that's VVD, Virgil van Dijk.
Oh. I was like, who's WD?
A lot of guys are important to two teams. I mean,
I don't even know.
But yeah,
to
me, yes. I would say yes because I'm a defensive guy, and to me, the best defender in the world is probably the most valuable person to me.
I would say, would they really rush him back, the Dutch team, to play Van Dijk?
I don't think. I mean, I think Liverpool probably has a big say in that.
I would say no. Or if I'm Liverpool, I'm like, hell no.
Yeah, no, there's zero chance. If Liverpool has a choice, there's zero chance that he's playing in this. But
I think
It's
he
exciting.
could be. He could be the most valuable player in the world. You've seen it, how
Like,
Liverpool have struggled with him not there.
if I was building a team and I had to do like a fantasy draft and he was completely healthy and I had the number 1 overall pick, I'm probably taking him. Like, to start a team with the best center back in the world is I'm a big builder or believer in building from the back forward and building a really good goalie and a really good defense and then letting the rest work itself out. So
I don't know.
I kind of would say he's MVP, I guess.
It's tough to say because even the Dutch aren't like they're kind of like the U.S. I'm still waiting on the Dutch to actually perform in the big competition, and they just really haven't.
Yeah.
Their attack, I don't know. Like, what do you have? Frankie de Jong?
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're a little limited, but
Like, I feel like they just underperform every time they're in a big tournament.
they haven't quite got back to that heyday of Van Persie and Robin and
That's
all
just
those
naughty
guys,
teams.
yeah.
Too naughty. You're Marco Van Basten and Van Bronckhorst, Van Bommel.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
A lot of blonde-haired, big, tall guys with the name Van.
Van.
Von.
Von Brammel, Von Brockhorst. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be pretty
Jonathan
dumb.
Babel.
Yeah, Ryan Babel.
Oh, Ryan Babel. Yeah, sorry. Ryan Babel.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dumb if, for me, if Van Dijk would come back for the Euros. Because I still don't think they're going to really compete. Especially now with Frank de Boer as the coach. Save it for next year's Liverpool squad. What about Wesley Sneijder? Like, he was a great player. He's the most capped Dutch player. It's guys that really need to step up. Your Memphises of the world. I like that Daniel Malen guy.
Dude, this is so freaking confusing. I get it now. Okay. I'm sorry. I was like,
Donnie.
I realize I'm getting all these updates and I'm like, all right, well, Netherlands play Latvia today in a European Cup, in a European qualifier. It's qualifiers for the next Euros. So we're qualifying right now for the next Euros before we've even played the Euros.
For what?
Yeah. So like these games, like that Montenegro Gibraltar game and this Russian Slovenia game are not just World Cup qualifiers, but they're also Euro qualifiers for the next Euros.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because it's all screwed up because we haven't played a tournament that's already supposed to happen.
With the Euros being pushed to this summer, it's just
So the other things have to keep moving. So in order to have the next tournament, they have to keep the others moving. So there's guys that are not only just playing in the current tournament that hasn't happened yet, but they have to qualify for the next one.
Right.
It's nuts.
It's very confusing.
It's yeah, COVID really did a number on a sport like soccer because of how many competitions. So when you had a major delay in the world of all competitions, it's like everything got kind of screwy.
To answer Eric's question, it's actually spread out this year. They're not having it in one spot like they usually do. They have, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 or 12 different venues. Rome has a venue, the Olympic Stadium in Baku, St. Petersburg Stadium in Russia, the Parken Stadium in Copenhagen, Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam, We got the National Arena in Bucharest, Wembley, Hampden Park in Glasgow, the Estadio de San Mamés in Bilbao, Spain, the Dublin Arena, and the Fußball Arena München in Munich are the venues for this summer's Euros. Cutting down
crazy.
on less travel, not having everybody, because usually it's in the spot where the World Cup would eventually be. And obviously Qatar is still building stadiums as we speak. So that is not ready. So they're going to, with COVID as well, they're going to cut it.
Well, yeah, and they're the favorites of the groups. The top teams qualified for each group are going to get a little home field kind of advantage, it looks like, mostly in location, because I know England's playing in London. There's actually an app. Euros 2020 has their own app, and it's really good if you want to really dive deep into it. I suggest downloading that app and kind of looking in there. So, because everything you want to know is in there. Plus the qualifiers for the next one. So
Yeah.
I just realized I had it. So it's pretty funny that you mentioned Cruyff's name too. That stadium, because he was just in the news a couple days ago. Because it's been 5 years, I guess, since he's passed away, and they're just saying how much he shaped at Ajax and Barcelona in the world of soccer, and how much it's still a thing today. Like everything that guy's done. He passed back in 2016.
Yeah, I think it's his 5-year.
Yeah, it's 5 years since his passing. But yeah, he was just a phenomenal mind in this game, and he did great things for the sport. So
yeah, to go back what Lord Walker said, I mean, I like the Dutch squad. It's just, to me, they've underperformed. Yeah, Nations League, they might have lost in the final, but they need some of these guys like the Frankie de Jongs and the Memphises and, Donny van de Beek. How's he going to play after not even playing at United at all? How's his form going to be? With probably no Van Dijk. I mean, they got Joel Veltman probably. I don't know. They're not proven to me. They got old Daley Blind.
Well, you know why he loves. Old. You know why he loves his Belgian team, because his boy Georgie's captaining them now.
Oh, I forgot about Georgie. Yeah.
So here's their lineup for today. Since we're talking about them, they're playing Latvia at 1:00 our time. The old mainstay in goal, Timmy Krul.
No way.
Heading up the goalkeeper duties with Delight and Daley Blind at your center back pairing. It looks like Dumfries or Dumb Fries, depending on if you're American or not. You Dumb Fries is holding down the right back spot since we stole Sergino Dest. So nice to see that.
Nice come up for the boys.
It looks like Window's playing left back. So Daley Blind used to play left back for them, but is moved to center back with Van Dijk out. You got Frankie de Jong, Clausen, and Wijnaldum in the midfield. Georgie again captaining the team, and then you got Luc de Jong playing the striker with Memphis Depay and Bergerus playing the right wing there. So,
right on. I think you have Stevie Bergwijn too. It's a lot of young talent, but they
but some of those guys aren't so young. Yeah, I mean.
I don't know.
It's a weird mix of guys. Yeah, I mean they got to do it today. They're home against Latvia. So 1:00.
Tens are more important. Yes.
Ooh,
Eddie says, "Who do we cheer for in the Euros?" I mean, I'm Slovenian. I'm 50% Slovenian, so I usually root for them. But I don't believe they made it. So. I don't know. Just rooting for.
I know who I'm rooting for.
Germany.
Of course. And England.
Die Mannschaft.
I'll root for England. I'll root for England too, but I mean, I've I've always been a German national team fan and had some really nice highs in the last 6, 7, 8 years, but also have now hit some lows too. So literally lows. I was looking to see if your boy's playing today. He is. Actually, both of our boys are playing for Norway today against Turkey. That's a big game.
The Turks
on the same side too. Odegaard and Haaland just building that chemistry to be at Arsenal together. So
Jeff's rooting for Germany. I mean,
it's weird. I'm rooting for Germany, but
shouldn't get to the semifinals. Germany.
I'm rooting for Belgium too because I was a big I wanted to see this Belgian team do something with Company while he was still in his prime with that really young. I thought maybe that super young core at the time, real young De Bruyne and a real young Hazard in them with the veteran leadership would have done more, but they didn't. I still have I have a lot of expectation though. Like you are very high on De Bruyne. We've had those De Bruyne talks and stuff like that. And you're that good of a talent. And there's no debating there's a lot of other talent in Belgium. There's other good center backs in Belgium. There's other good midfielders. There's a lot of good forwards. You got Lukaku's and Thorgan Hazard's actually stepped up of recent. And there's no reason. And you have a world-class goaltender in Courtois. You should be competitive, in Europe. You definitely should be. I want to see it.
Their attack is good. I just feel like their defense is going to be what's going to hold them back. I mean, I know they have Toby, they have Alderweireld, and I don't even know if Mounier is good enough to play left back anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. Company's gone.
Yeah.
It's kind of an aging team at the same time, but their attack is fantastic. You don't get much better than that.
Vertonghen, they still have Vertonghen.
Yeah.
Castagna.
Yeah. Some of the newer guys out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's their time to shine now.
They're predicting their lineup today for the it's not official yet. They were predicting it for the Czech game. They're saying they think Courtois, Vertonghen, Denier, which he's pretty good too. Denier, I forget where he plays. I think he's in. He's not Lille. Oh man, Lyon. I think he's with Lyon. Alderweireld, Castagna, De Donker, Tielemans, Sealmakers, De Bruyne, Lukaku, and Dries Mertens. I mean, that's talented soccer players right there.
It's a good mix of old and young.
Yeah, you just got to put it all together, I guess, on the pitch. It's time. That game's actually on ESPN today too, so
it's kind of like nut up or shut up time for this Belgian contingent in this Euro and then the World Cup coming up, because this is their time to. It's now or never, I would say, for that core group to really come up big.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have a rooting interest in the Euros. I wish I had more. I mean, I'm Irish, and I don't really follow Irish football that much. They're not very good.
They don't get there either. Yeah, I love them, but they're not very good. I got the kit.
It's beautiful.
Right here. But it's just
my ancestry.
They're another one, constant disappointment. And they got screwed out of the last World Cup. They got screwed out on some bad calls on the final day in games that weren't even their game either. That other team shouldn't have won, that they ended up winning, that knocked them out. But
wasn't that World Cup back in 2010? That was the Henri handball against Ireland.
That was one. That was definitely one of them. But it's happened numerous times to them. They get to the point where they're not holding their own fate on the last day, and nothing ever seems to work out in their favor.
Yeah,
they're always right on that edge of qualification. So I think they play Luxembourg today, so that's
tough one.
Yeah, hey, you got to win those games. You want to qualify, so
Luxembourg.
Let's see what they can do.
Anything else you feel like noteworthy?
No, I'm excited to get the Prem back up and running again here too. This break is fun and it's nice, but it's like we're at that point in the season where it's like we're at the final stretch here. Like I want to really see who's going to do what. And
yeah, we got I think 8 match weeks left now.
Yeah, it's crazy,
it's nuts. But yeah, it's exciting. We're hitting that final like month and a half stretch here.
8 to 10, I guess, depending on who you're left, because we play 38 games.
Right.
Some teams have played as many as 30, and some teams have played as little as 28. So, but yeah, we're right up into that final run here.
We're getting there. It's exciting.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's pretty much cities to lose at this point.
They're 14 points still clear. I'm not worried. I'm not too concerned with even the championship at this point. I want to see who's going to round out that final 4, who's going to go bye-bye, who's coming up. Unfortunately, this is another year where it's like we kind of pretty much are handing a title out early. It looks like, unless there's some epic collapse, but I doubt it.
I'm with you, Lord. I'm not a big Gareth Southgate guy myself.
Yeah, it's similar to, leaving Trent off was similar to leaving Sane off that Germany World Cup roster. It's just one of those things where it's like a head scratcher. It just doesn't make any freaking sense. So.
I don't know.
I guess it'll have to translate. I mean, if England goes on and does great things and they win without him, then you can't you can't say anything bad about the move. But if they look like they're missing something, and especially at that position, then it's like you're going to really question him.
Again, you saw it with Germany. Not bringing in Sane really caused a rift amongst the locker room. And look what they did. They didn't do shit that whole tournament.
Yeah.
And now the coach is, Jurgi Löw's pretty much out. I don't know why he's not out before the Euros, but I guess that wasn't enough time to really grab a coach and get him ready to roll. But I'd be surprised if Jurgi Löw coaches in the World Cup.
Yeah. I don't think he makes it that far unless they make a run in Euros.
Right.
If they can make some kind of major run and get it back together in Euros, then yeah, but I don't think I see that happening. I kind of am almost over it, like we've talked about. I'd rather some change.
Like we said, they just need a new face and a new voice in that locker room.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just stale.
So, I started something new. Came up with yellow and red cards, big ones, and I want to start marking down our selections on them so we can really track them. And when we're putting people on notice, to make sure that we're following up when they are put on notice. And if they screw up again, they hit that red card. And I think once they hit that red card, we got to get rid of them. Like we got to throw them out the game. So I'm going straight red today as we're winding down, and it's as a whole, and it's been the relative go-to red card for us over the last year. But it's going to get like deeper this time, and that's why I wanted to just get to it a little bit early. And it's the whole I don't even want to say racism anymore. Like just this whole negative hatred, like way of living. We have FIFA is possibly coming down on sanctions on Mexico after an anti-gay chant was, performed in their last game. We're getting people back in the stands, and like, this is how we react, of course. We have the legend, my guy, Thierry Henry, literally today quit social media. Like, his final announcement came out yesterday. As of today, you will not find him on any form of social media. And he highlights just the overwhelming amount of racism and negativity that goes on there right now. And he's just like, he's at the point where now he's not just walked away from his job, and now he's gone to the lengths of where he's just kind of detaching himself from everything because he just doesn't want to live in that kind of, world and society. And I completely get it. And it's sad because for me, like, this game represents so much positivity about bringing people together. Like, we talk about the international break where everybody dips back to their own country, and that's where we are now. But like, when we're not there, you can't think of a bigger melting pot of diversity than a sport like soccer. Like, you and I joked about it the one time, but I sat there with Arsenal's roster and I went down and I'm like naming country after country after country of these guys that they all have different backgrounds. They all come from different lifestyles of like all over. And then they get thrown onto this team together. And these guys find a way to, communicate and to trust each other and to build off of that and win championships, not necessarily Arsenal, but like in the game in general, like these guys all find a way to do it. And it's like, if they can do it and they can get thrown into this, whether they're getting a paycheck, they're not getting a paycheck, that doesn't matter. Like, when these guys really build that form of chemistry and you see a guy from Switzerland hugging a guy from Gabon because they put a beautiful play together and put a goal together, like, that's what this sport should be. And for the fact that these guys keep finding their way in and try to add this negativity and this hate to it, it's disgusting. And I'm just over it. And I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Like, I just want to put it on this red card, and I don't want to bring it up because I don't want it to keep happening. But unfortunately, we know it is, and it has to stop, man.
Yeah, I think that's well said. I don't even know if I could follow up to that. That was kind of my what I saw with the whole Henry thing, him basically just like quitting and boycotting social media. He's not going to be on it if this shit keeps happening. So, good
and
for
more
him.
people should, more people should follow suit, I think. And I think, like we say always about taking stands and doing things, like, we went back to that Wilfred Zaha thing the other day. Good for him. You don't want to take a knee because you think the knee is, the knee was supposed to represent something and start change, but yet no change was actually happening. So now it was just becoming a motion, and like, it was almost just becoming a thing to do for with no purpose. So it's like we need to just see the change happen, and more people need to take a stand. And I give him all the credit in the world for just kind of stepping away. I wish I could do the same. Unfortunately, for us to grow what we're trying to grow, we need these outlets, and we can't step away. But I'd like to see it get cleaned up, and just tired of talking about it, man.
Yeah, it's becoming exhausting, but it's literally. I mean, I think since we've done this show, there's always some issue, or it tends to come up, whether when fans were back in the seats, before the pandemic, shouting at players on the field or throwing, we've seen bananas getting thrown on fields. And, I think that the social media brings athletes and celebrities, it gives them a chance to interact with us, the common folk, and people tend to ruin that with if your team loses and you just blast the guy because the color of his skin, like, that's just ridiculous. And then good for Henry taking a stand, and more athletes should do that. If if you're going to talk shit and ruin it for everybody else, good. You're not going to be able to interact with that athlete anymore. And then you're going to be like, oh, why do you do that? It's like, well, because you're a jackass.
You shouldn't be able to interact with anybody anymore.
Right. And hey, good for him. I think that's kind of what I had in my mind too, as far as the red card.
Racism hate officially on the new red card. Has to go. No place in the game for it.
Maybe one day.
And yeah, let's hope, man. Let's hope.
But yeah,
Danny, yes, I'm with you, brother.
What's a good game to
Norway,
watch? Norway, Turkey.
That's good watching right there.
I'm down for that one. I think
El Capitan Martin Odegaard, number 10.
That's a good one.
Leading the way with Erling Haaland. You want to see some star-studded affair?
I mean, hey, we'll see what Norway can do. Again, what was the other one? I think Serbia-Portugal could be okay. I'd like to see what Portugal team gets rolled out. Apparently, they're like all these new guys. As Portugal is, the hot thing on the block, even though they've been, according to ESPN, they're new.
Portugal's the wave. Portugal's the wave.
And they leave out Rui Patricio, who's been the starting keeper for like 10 years now.
Yeah.
They just name all the guys that have got in the Premier League, like Bruno and Ruben Diaz recently.
Yeah.
Way to go, ESPN, really killing the game.
Good work, guys. Well, on that note,
keep up the good work.
On that note, again, thanks to everybody who joined us today. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that jazz, all the Kicking and Stateside social medias, all the A2D social medias. Follow all the shows on A2D Radio, and we'll just keep bringing it for you. Again, next week we'll be back with the regular games back on schedule. And then we're 2 weeks out of the MLS preview show, so we're right there, man. More and more to come.
I know. I'm excited with the Union's CONCACAF Champions League game coming up on the 7th.
Yes,
against Saprissa.
Yeah, and Orlando's in that too, right? Orlando's also in that, so pretty exciting.
I don't fear Porto at all. Zero fear.
We'll talk more Champions League next week as well. Once that gets going, Champions League, Europa. I fear Slavia Praha. I'm not going to lie, but let's hope that the Arsenal boys just come out ready. So.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that next week. And yeah, we got the Prem back next week. Finally, it feels like it's been too long. I haven't really looked at the schedule, but we'll go over that. I think there's no games on Friday. I think we got Saturday, Sunday, which is a pretty full slate from what I've seen. So, but we'll get into that next week. Appreciate everybody. Like Brian said, this international break's always fun because we don't get to talk about the international game, once, the club seasons are really rocking and rolling, because that in itself can take up a whole show. So we appreciate everybody. Dan, Lord Walker, Eric jumping on. Eddie, of course, per usual, always great to chit-chat with everybody. Jeff.
All the guys from A2D.
All the A2D guys, thanks for tuning in, sharing the show. Again, I'm going to post, if not, follow us on Instagram and our socials, like Brian said. I'm going to try and put those logos up and the crest to, have people, look at the options that we're looking at. Take a vote, what you think is the best. If you missed last week's show, I kind of previewed what I came up with. But if you have any suggestions, or if there's a certain one you guys like out of the 3 or 4 that I'll show, let us know. We'll kind of make it a little bit of like a contest, or if you guys want to add anything, we're open books here. So
yeah, suggestions are always welcome.
But yes, again, thank you guys. We love you. Enjoy your weekend. It's supposed to be beautiful today. Get outside. And yeah,
Absolutely.
we'll see you guys next week.
Happy Saturday.
Later.
Later.